It's Monday night. Do you know where your psychic is? Hello, everybody. It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles, 6 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 7 p.m. here in New York City. I'm the Mad Dog, joined by the Pitbull, and this is America's Best Popcast. What's the buzz? How you doing, Amelia?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm really good today. I had a very long day.
I can
It
imagine.
started early this morning, and it ain't over yet. It'll
Nope.
be over when I kick Valentina's ass. Now,
Wow, just like that.
let me introduce everybody to
Uh,
Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. She is my producer at large. How you doing, kid? Everything's
Yeah.
good? You didn't
Oh,
hurt
yeah.
nobody today?
Not today.
Okay, good. We have an interesting show tonight for everybody. Tonight, we're going to take a look at the world of spirit, the world of the paranormal beyond this realm, as seen through the eyes of a working, practicing psychic. Her name is Valentina Marie Lomborg. She is, she's my little Danish over here. She's born in Copenhagen, Denmark. And she's just a little pixie, with pink hair.
Yes.
Like they all have pink hair, in Denmark.
Pointy ears.
Aw.
Exactly, right? But tonight we're going to take a look at the world of the psychic
Yes.
as seen through their own eyes.
Hmm.
So we are going to get right into that. We're going to forego the normal stuff we usually do today. And we're going to get right into it. Let me bring your name up. This is psychic and medium Valentina Lomborg. And let's address that right now. Valentina, welcome to the show. How you doing,
Welcome
kid?
to the show.
Thank you for having
Wait a
me.
minute. Let's do this right.
Yes,
Let's
let's
do
do it.
this right. Okay, Amelia,
Yes.
I'm going to bring out the crowd for this one, okay?
Absolutely. Yes.
Watch this. Okay, you ready? Let them
Yes.
in. Let them in.
All right. Let's go.
That's enough of that. So, Valentina, let's first of all, how you doing, kid?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful,
How are you
wonderful.
guys?
Yes.
Good?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm fantastic. Amelia's doing good. She stayed out of trouble today, which is hard for her, really, I'll be honest.
It is. That much.
Very difficult. Very, very difficult for Amelia to stay out of trouble because she's just like, she's walking trouble. She's
Yeah.
starting stuff with the hospital. She's throwing people out and she's breaking windows and trying to get her husband to escape and all this crazy stuff.
I know.
Anyway, wonderful. You are a practicing psychic. I introduced you as a psychic and medium. Do you do both?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to everybody in your terms what you believe the difference is between a psychic and a medium.
Okay. Well, it's quite easy. A psychic reads the living energy, and a medium reads those that have crossed over. Now, all mediums are psychics. However, not all psychics are mediums.
Okay. You impressed me with point number one. I already know that because I want to tell you who wrote that. I did. I did. In my first book.
Oh,
In my first book.
okay.
I brought you on the show tonight and I didn't tell you something about me.
No, I know nothing
Okay.
about you.
I'm going to tell you now all about me. Everything you need to know. I've been a psychic for 55 years.
Okay.
And that's all I'm telling you.
Thank you. Good night.
All I'm telling you. And I wrote 2 books. Here's the thing. And I have said that years and years and years ago, and nobody understood because you can only hear if your ears are open.
Right.
Okay. And it's simple as Valentina just said. And just understand the simplicity of what she said. All psychics are mediums, but I'm sorry. All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. The difference is in the energy you're able to read. And that's what it all comes down to. Some people are not capable of reading crossed over or deceased energy.
Right.
Okay. Or what I like to call ethereal energy.
That's a nice
That's
name.
the name I
Mhm.
gave it.
Yeah.
Ethereal energy. Which means it's the energy that lives far beyond us.
Right.
Okay. So
So
tell me,
true.
when the interest in being a psychic hit you, or did you choose it, or did it choose you?
No, that's the thing. People come to me and they're like, so when did you decide to be a psychic? I did not decide anything. The
Yeah.
universe decided for me. I was very busy having a very successful modeling career in Los Angeles. So the last thing on my mind is talking to dead people. Um, it was not something that really I was even, and back then there was barely anything on television about it. So it
Yeah.
certainly wasn't something I set out, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Um, now I've accepted it. I mean, I've had the gifts for 30 years, but I chose not, I wasn't ready. And as the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So,
Absolutely.
so I think if it had been in my hands back then, I probably would not have known what to do with it. And since then, I worked so hard at mastering what I'm the best at, and just being the best version of me that I could be.
I can tell you now in all full disclosure. I can tell you now in all full disclosure. I had my doubts about you.
That's fine. A lot
I
sometimes
and
people do.
I had my doubts about you. No, I never doubted that you were a psychic. I never doubted that because I know the
Mhm.
energy.
Yeah.
Look, honey, I've been doing this a long time. And
Yeah.
I know when I'm being conned and I know when the real deal, okay? Um, it's interesting to hear you say that because I too was the same way. It chose me from birth. I've never known anything else. I can't turn it on and off. It's just always on.
Oh.
It's there.
I'll teach you how to turn it
So
on.
when you discovered this energy that lived with inside you, and you felt like, okay, I have to do something about it now. You know, the student is certainly willing, the student is ready, and now the teacher appears and says, "Okay, let's roll." When did you, in full disclosure and in fullness of spirit, embrace this world, this lifestyle? How long ago?
Um, Probably about 2010 when I first started. I was on the Queen Mary and just going to a paranormal convention, and
Hmm.
um, I guess the ghost could sense my gifts because that evening 15 ghosts came through, and it was almost like they were pushing each other in front of the microphone to get over, like, I want to talk to her.
Yeah,
So
they
they were
do
very,
that.
yeah, and that was the first time I felt that. I go, God, everyone's fighting to talk to me, it's weird. But
Yeah,
it's weird because there's only one microphone. It's not like everyone is chatting at once. They're very respectful. It's like whoever's got the mic, it's their turn to talk, and then they might push each other out of the way. But I don't get, a lot of chit chatting all at once.
yeah,
So, and then from there, I saw my first full bodied apparition in like 1940s garb. And after
yeah.
that, I thought, okay, something's going on here. I'm hooked to talking to anything dead. And I use dead very lightly.
Yeah.
And it was just like after that, it progressed from paranormal investigating and talking to ghosts. I realized, you know what, this is a very selfish thing, because it's all about, oh, let me prove this, let me, it felt very like ghost hunting,
Yeah.
what am I, it's all for me. So when
Oh
I,
boy, do I got a story for you. Go ahead, continue. Amelia knows what Amelia
Yes,
knows
I do.
she knows exactly what I'm
Mhm.
talking about.
Yes.
Go ahead, continue.
oh well, yeah, so then it progressed to just getting really good at talking to ghosts. And then Flash forward to 2015 when both of my parents passed within 2 weeks of each other. I became very obsessed with trying to communicate with my mother.
Yeah.
And I had just, before they passed, probably 2 months before, started doing readings. And my mother and father at least knew what I did, and they said, "We're so proud of you and what you're doing."
Hmm.
So that when they passed, I thought, well, at least they know what I do and they believe in me.
Yeah.
And that was very useful, not only because, that's like your final impression your parents have of you, but
Hmm.
also that I feel with my mother knowing what I could do, it was so easy for her to come back and communicate with me
Yeah.
because, so that was all of it just played out so beautifully, in a sad way. But I understand all of it now, why it all
Sure.
happened.
Well, that was your transition.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Mhm.
That was your mother's way of transitioning. And see, spirit, they like attention and they are attention getters, but they also know how to get our attention.
Right.
Right.
Okay. And sometimes they do it very subtly, and sometimes it's in your face.
Right.
It
Yeah,
sounds like
exactly.
what your mother did to you was more subtle than in your face.
Yeah.
It sounded like much more loving and passive,
Right.
you
But
know.
still effective.
Oh,
Yes.
spirit is very effective. Trust me, kid.
Absolutely.
Amelia, I
Yes.
know that this is a show you wanted to do, so have
Absolutely.
at it, kid. Have
Yeah,
at it.
I know. I told him, I said, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. And I
Yay.
know that a lot of the time that it can get overwhelming for you. Do you often just say, look, I need some time to meditate and just kind of get some time to myself? Is that something that you do often?
I call it decompression, I guess also because I'm a scuba diver, that's like relatable. Oh, thank you. Um, so decompression relates to me because it's
Mhm.
kind of like that degassing.
Yes.
Um, I work so hard. There used to be like set hours and off time and everything like that, but really, I mean, I could go to bed at midnight and go, oh, thank God it's over for today. And I get some random text like, please, oh my God, V, I need to see you. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, guess it's not over right now. You know, I have done readings from my hospital bed in the ER. I've done
Mhm.
readings when I'm in bed sick. The nurses find out I'm a psychic. Suddenly I'm reading every nurse on the ward. It really does not have an off time for me. But when I am off, like I am at Disneyland, I am someplace, I throw myself into someplace super happy and really mindless. I probably do the most mindless thing I can that doesn't involve any thinking, any focus. So my weakness is like a lot of reality shows, just stupid love shows. That's where
We have a
Right.
we have a young lady in our chat room tonight. I love this girl. This is
Mhm.
Layla Schmidt,
Hi,
and
Layla.
and she
Hi,
says, "I love
Leila.
your hair," but she's got a question.
Okay.
Here's her
How
question.
come, how come I cannot see the questions?
Oh,
Oh, there
can you
they
see
are.
that? Yeah. It says, "I know that voice to skull technology exists. Is there a way to tell if what is being heard is an actual disembodied spirit versus this technology?"
Oh, I love this girl.
Mhm.
Cerebral. Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm in love with Layla. She's
Yes.
amazing.
Okay, I see that I have not logged in, so I cannot really answer. So I won't be typing. I will just be reading and saying things. Voice to skull technology. Now you've got me having to Google this. That this is going to be exciting. I have not. For me, yeah, this is going to be a tough one to answer because I don't know the voice to skull technology, so I cannot make a comparison yet. However, um when I hear, let's just use when I hear an actual disembodied voice versus did I imagine that? Um I'm really focused on my own inner voice and vocalization all the time. So if I'm thinking about baking a cake and suddenly somebody goes, "Help me." I know that that wasn't me because I'm focused on making a
Yeah.
cake, you know. So that's where if you're very in tune with what your own thoughts are at all times, then anything that comes from anywhere else, whether it's
Yeah.
out in the open or in your mind telepathically, is going to be that other thing.
Let me tell you what she means by
Yeah.
voice to skull
Mhm.
technology. Um, I know a few people that are in a couple of three-letter agencies. They use this technology to basically to listen to you from the inside out. They can.
Oh,
It's a technology that exists that resonates. It's almost like, think of it this way. Think of it as a non-invasive MRI. Okay,
Oh, yes.
that it and I want to read exactly what it means. Okay, it's
okay.
a non-lethal weapon which includes a a neuroelectromagnetic device which uses microwave transmission of the sound into the skull of a person or animals. In other words, they can get it. They can literally get into your head.
Oh,
They can put voices in your head.
that sounds
Really,
very scary.
it is scary. But I'll give you, and it's been around a long time. By the way,
Okay.
it's
That
not
sounds like
new.
No, it's not
okay.
I'm
new.
going to give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Do you remember a guy named Sirhan?
Yes.
He killed Robert F. Kennedy. Okay, he's the guy who killed Senator Kennedy at the time. Sirhan, the first thing he said when he was arrested was, "Voices in my head told me to do it." That's the technology we're talking about.
I see.
It's non-lethal, but it's extremely dangerous in the wrong hands.
Right. We're talking like war and things like that, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about the government has this technology and they utilize it to discredit people who
Got it.
have too much knowledge.
Okay.
How do you discredit somebody? By calling them crazy, don't you?
Right, right. Of course.
Oh, well, he's hearing voices in his head.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about. That's exactly what she's talking about. But the bigger question is this, and she brings up a very good point. Are disembodied voices audible to you?
Yes. On
Okay.
occasion. I mean, if they want to make it, you know.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And I will tell you that you and I have a lot more in common than you think. I hear disembodied voices, but I also, for lack of a better word, and people understand this,
Yes.
I feel their voice.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
feel their questions. I feel their emotions.
Yes.
I can sense them internally. But every now and then, clear as day, I'll hear a voice go, "Angelo, do this for me," or "Angelo, I need your help." And they
Yeah.
will ask for help, by the way. And
Right. Absolutely.
yeah, they are in a place, for lack of a better word, where help is plentiful, but they're very. It's like the living world. They're very selective about who they talk to.
This is
Right.
true. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, they're very selective. I mean, it's strange to say, Valentina. It's really strange to say that the deceased are selective, but they really are, aren't they?
But I mean, it's kind of like that you can't sit with us concept at the lunch table,
Yeah, exactly,
you know,
Right.
exactly.
and if
You're not one of the cool kids.
Right.
right, but if somebody is on the other side trying to get the best communicator and they're like, oh, that person's psychic, wait, no, they're not that good, or this person's really good, I could understand why they would want to pick and choose
Yeah,
the best person to be the messenger and
yeah.
their friend,
Yeah.
in case they build a relationship, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's with
Um,
these questions?
Yeah, because I've had that happen before because we went to go visit my grandparents and my grandfather just passed away and my grandmother was there visiting because we hadn't seen
La
her
la 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 la.
forever. And my husband was like, I wish they would be quiet because we're trying to sleep. And I can't believe they're talking about your grandfather. And we had a night light plugged into the very top, and there goes the night light falling on the thing. And I was like, aha, that's my grandfather telling you to be quiet.
Yeah,
So we can
see,
talk about
look,
him.
they
You
get
know,
sassy.
they do.
Valentina, what do you sense around me?
Oh, we're just getting right to it here. I
I'm
like
a,
that
I'm
there's
a,
just
a person of very few words. Shut up, Amelia.
I didn't say a word.
okay. Let me just give me a second here to just
Take all the seconds you need. I'm not going anywhere. It's my show.
Okay. All right. Well, now that you've had me open up, I'll be making notes as I'm going, but let's just keep going and then I may
Mhm.
spew out things as they come to me.
Spew away, darling. Spew
Yeah,
away.
spew away whenever you'd like.
Absolutely. So, you found out, I get the sense that you found out at a very young age and sat on it for a while.
No,
Really?
I was 23 when the brain injury happened to me that triggered everything and
Well,
Oh,
how it all
that's young.
very young.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I
young.
was thinking, 6 or 7 years old. I mean, I was
Oh,
not
no,
one of
I'm not.
those that had imaginary friends that I sat and talked to the air and things like that.
Well, no, when I say I sense that you were young when this happened, you were 23 is young.
Yeah, I guess.
You
To me,
know,
it's
that's
because,
my
like,
daughter's age, and she's young.
Mhm. Yeah, she's very.
okay, yeah, that's true. Compared to now, yes, 23
Yeah,
is
sure. But no,
Oh,
so you were, but you did sit on this for a while. You did not immediately embrace it. By your own admission, you didn't immediately embrace it. You had a brain injury, as did I, by the way,
wow.
and that happened to me when I was born. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't born with a soft spot on my head.
Uh,
I was literally born with a hard head. Imagine that. And so that's what happened. It opened up a portal. And so tell me about your portal process. How did it transcend for you?
uh, well, gosh, it wasn't exactly. I mean, when I had the brain injury, obviously things started feeling different. I was more sensitive to things, and I just started putting everything in a book, wondering why is everything, why am I picking up all these things? I can
Hmm.
hug people, I can tell when they're going to die. I'm picking up things. So a lot of it was spent just questioning because I didn't understand what was happening to me, and
Right.
I didn't know what to do with it because back then, nobody's talking about these kind of gifts. Nobody's helping you. So
Sure.
I just put everything in a book and the writing little scribbles, and the book just started filling up. And it was at that point I realized, okay, this is beyond coincidence. The book is full of predictions
Yeah.
and when they came true, what's
Yeah.
going on with me. I don't really like this. So
Yeah.
because you try to be as normal as possible, says the girl
Sure.
with the pink hair.
right.
And-
Yeah.
but when stuff like that starts happening and you don't know if you should vocalize it, then you do, and people look at you like you've got 3 ears. So then you kind of keep quiet. Then you start thinking you're a freak. Um,
Hmm.
and so a lot of it gets, even as an adult, they gets clammed up, and then finally you're like, screw it, I can't hide it anymore. This is who I am. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you at any time, like so many of us do, did you try to walk away from it or put it underneath the bed sheets and leave it, for another time?
Yeah, I mean, I did for many years. I would say that was 1990, so almost 20 years, 21
Hmm.
years. and I just went about my day, because once you kind of close that door, it's not that
Hmm.
it's hard to open, but it does take a little bit of work. So I
Sure.
could focus on my life and my career and everything else.
Hmm.
And then when I finally did open it, a little crack, I was like, okay, this is all I can handle for now. But when the door flew open later, it was
I'm so happy to hear you say
Mm-hmm.
I'm you don't know how happy I am. That I'm
I,
so happy to hear you say that you only dealt with as much as you could handle at
Yes.
that time. Because so many people with far less knowledge than you have try to do far more than you did. And they end up making themselves look the fool to the world.
Right.
right.
The biggest problem is it's very cool these days to call yourself a psychic.
Yeah, seems to be
Okay.
the trend.
And everybody and their brother wants to be a psychic.
Right.
And they
Exactly.
charge money for it. I don't charge any money. I don't need to. And I'm going to tell you why. Because by asking for a donation and even just suggesting, look, if you want to make a donation, trust me when I tell you, you'll make more money with donations than you do by charging people. I assure you, I guarantee you that. So if you're charging people, do the spirit world a favor. They gave you the gift for free. Do it for free. Suggest that people donate. Now, the other question I have for you, and it's a simple question. Are there people who try to test you, and what do you do in that case? Because I get people try to test me all the time.
I think it's very insulting. I can see where they're coming from because I always try to understand both sides. I can see where they're coming from, because of all the scammers out there. They need to test you. But at the same time, I feel if you've been doing it this long, your credibility, your reviews speak for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there is no testing me. I mean, you don't go to a doctor and say, "Hey, could you do surgery on me and I'll see if I want to hire you," or have you do
Well,
the rest of
Exactly.
the surgery.
Right.
well, that's
Hey,
Exactly.
kind of extreme, but on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
people do go to doctors for second opinions.
right. Okay. Maybe
Okay.
that was not the best example, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it wasn't.
maybe an attorney, or I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
No, I
I
get
mean,
what you mean though,
Yeah.
and you have a legitimate point.
Right.
But you know this because I believe you to be the real deal. You know this that people are going to try to push you.
Mm-hmm.
right,
They're going to try to get you to do something that you would not ordinarily do.
right.
In that circumstance, do you simply get up and walk away or do you engage with them? How do you handle that?
Okay, so if it's in person, I will just say, because it happens when I'm in the store or in a restaurant, I will just say, I'm sorry, you can book an appointment. I'm not here, I'm not on today. I'm trying to buy cucumbers at the store,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
If people text me and say, hey, can I get a free question? Which is another way of asking, can I test you? I'm just like, I'm sorry,
Right.
you have to go through the measures of the website.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I
Well,
think
if
you have to set
people have
boundaries
to
and
do that, yeah, I have, and the world knows that I have a problem with that. I've written about that.
Mm.
If you have to use the word, I shake my head, I shudder. If you have to use the word free when
right,
talking about a psychic, if you have to use the word appointment when talking about a psychic, walk away. Just
Right.
walk away. Don't go to a psychic who says, make an appointment. If they're any good, they'll tell you what you need to know then. That's that. And that's not for the psychic, that's for the people watching.
oh,
Um,
but I tell people they have to make an appointment. So you're
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well,
I
I mean,
wouldn't, not at all.
uh, here's the thing. I think people don't
Who
realize
who
that.
are you hurting? Who are you hurting by telling somebody something they need to know? Sometimes, Valentina, it can't wait.
Well, no,
Sometimes they need to know then.
yeah, but I think what people don't understand is people think that psychics are available 24 hours a day, and they forget that they have a regular life. And
I get that.
in all fairness to my clients, due to the fact that I do have a lot of things on my plate constantly,
Right?
that if they just come up to me and want a reading, they can wait and make an appointment, or they can catch me at a different time because I'm focused on my own things. And for the sake of the reading being as clear and good and focused as possible, I owe it to my clients to be 100%. When they're running up to me in the grocery store, I'm not 100%. I honestly, I mean, that's just how I operate. And that's
Yeah.
why
They caught you off guard, in other
they
words.
catch me. Yeah, because my mind,
Mhm,
I'm such a super focused person when I'm in readings.
mhm.
That's your time for only you. When I'm at the store, when I'm at a hotel, wherever I am that isn't at my table, I'm sorry, but it will have to wait. I'm never going to walk up to somebody like the Long Island medium and say, "Oh, your uncle, da da da." I just don't invade people's space with
Yeah.
unsolicited information that they didn't
I
want. Or
have to tell you something that you brought that up. By the way, I challenged her. She never responded. But it's interesting though,
what?
because my wife and I used to go out, and we still go out. We go out for dinner and places like that. She will not let me, and Anita will not let me go up to someone's table and say, no, Uncle Harry passed away and he wants to tell you something, you know?
Right.
Right.
So, but here's the thing though. And I respect your privacy in that regard, and I respect your answer. I don't have that luxury because I can't turn mine off. It's there. It's
Right.
just there. It's a part of my DNA. So, and I came at that probably from a different angle, but I understand what you're saying. Amelia,
Yes.
questions for Valentina Marie
Yes.
Lomborg,
And
psychic at large.
I also noticed that you do seminars. Do you do quite a bit a month, or do you try to avoid seminars as well?
Um, you mean I do my own seminars or I
No,
go to?
you've been get invited to seminars to do seminars as well.
Oh, no, I haven't been yet. I mean, I go to conventions
Conventions.
sometimes just to see friends and visit and do something different, get out of the house because I really don't get out of the house much. I,
Well, then get out of the house. We're all
I work so much, I never get out of the house, and then some days I realize I haven't even had some fresh air because I've been inside all day working, and so
then get the
I
hell out and get some
Right.
fresh air.
trying. I'm
It's
trying.
getting too hot right now as
Yeah,
Dude,
well.
you
get
really
out.
cannot. Not in this weather. It's deadly, for sure. But
We
I,
should
I,
tell
I
people that the psychic Valentina Marie Lomborg is a Los Angeles, I'm sorry, Pasadena, California based
yeah,
psychic and medium. And you are from Copenhagen, Denmark, with
yeah.
a very cute little British accent. Was that British you want to call that, or what is that?
I guess. I mean, we don't learn English in school, so yeah, it's probably British English we learn. So
Okay. So, Amelia,
I don't. I
questions
don't.
again?
I live now in Florida. Remember?
Oh, you're in Florida.
Yes,
Oh,
she is
okay.
in Florida. Yes.
Oh, well, the last information I had that you were in Pasadena. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
we're up
Long
for a break as well too.
got
Just
a
time.
oh, Moonchild is here. She says, I
hi,
wear an
Moonchild.
amethyst at times to try and boost my intuition.
Yes.
Psychics fascinate me. Moonchild. Valentina Lomborg is my guest. She is a psychic and medium. Please ask her a bunch of questions. This is one of our favorite people. Her
Yep.
name is Moonchild.
Yes.
Oh,
Our
wonderful.
other favorite person is
Right.
in the chat. That's Layla. They're
Yes. I
great
was.
people.
That was my other questions as well. What is your as far as stones and everything like that? I do have amethyst for my children. Is that a good, powerful stone for children? to have
Yes,
around.
and it's also wonderful because it's very grounding and very calming. So I definitely would recommend that. If you have hyperactivity or anxiety, then lepidolite is really wonderful because it actually has natural lithium in there. And lithium, yes, will definitely calm your butt down.
Hmm.
For me, I
It'll
have.
put you to fuck asleep.
I didn't know we could say those things. Yeah, it'll knock you out probably. I mean, I sell crystals as well, and I know that's a very popular one that a lot of people buy.
Oh, everybody loves the crystals. Here we go.
I
I
love
mean,
crystals.
jewelry and
I
stuff.
have to tell you something. Valentina, I have a friend of mine, and he's been on the show like 5 times already.
Yeah.
He's a television producer. He produced and directed The Golden Girls.
Yes.
Yes.
He's my friend Mark Stodkin, okay?
Okay.
Mark has a room full of crystals. He loves his crystals.
Oh yes. A
I, on
beautiful
the other
white
hand,
crystal this big.
I, on the other hand, think crystals are a bunch of horse shit and they're
Oh.
pretty to look at, and that's all they do.
No, they're very
Well, with
powerful.
that attitude, you're right. That's all they are.
Absolutely. They are. She says, "Hi, Valentina. Does my favorite late actor know I exist and have a crush on him?"
Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Don't be.
Well,
Don't
while
be.
she thinks about that, let's take a break.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. You got a little reprieve over here because we are up against a commercial. So,
Okay.
Moonchild, stay with us. We'll be right back after this word from Shopify.
Jess wanted to start a business when something surprising happened.
Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet.
She started crocheting, like a lot. And her friends noticed.
Jess, you need to sell those.
So she signed up for Shopify and started building her business.
Yes, I love that.
And after a lot of hard work, this happened.
Oh my gosh, I just made my first sale!
You see, every day, hundreds of businesses get their first sale on Shopify.
We got a ding!
And the next could be you. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life,
And become your own boss.
build it on Shopify.
Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. We're back with What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast. I'm Angelo, Mad Dog DeCipio, joined, as I am each and every week, by Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. Tonight, speaking to the spirits and our special guest, psychic and medium Valentina Lomborg. Valentina, when last we left off, our friend Moonchild said, does my favorite actor know that I exist and I have a crush on him?
All right. So I wrote down during the break the answers here. Okay. It's kind of a two-part thing. The first answer is no, not when he was alive, but I feel now he does. All I got was you will see his initials at some point. That's him giving a little wink and just saying hi.
That's a load of shit.
Wow.
That's a load of crap. Well, here's why. She asked a very specific question, which I think is a fair question. Does my let's see here. How does she ask it? Here, I'll read it to you. She says, does my favorite late actor, that indicates he's already dead,
Right.
know I exist and I have a crush on him? Here is my question, Valentina. Who is her favorite late actor?
I am not picking that up. All I know was that I just wrote handsome. That's the only notes. Very chiseled, handsome kind of guy. Very boyish looking.
Well, that describes half of Hollywood. Right?
Well, not that's dead. But I mean, I'm just going off of what I got, and that was it, and then something with his initials that he's going to.
Okay.
So
Okay. So,
so just look for those.
before we
initials
get too off on that little tangent. Look, fair enough.
Mhm.
We are joined by psychic medium Valentina Lomborg. She is a psychic and a medium, which means she reads living and the deceased. Can dead people really communicate with us? That's the question. We know that we can communicate with them, but can they communicate with us? Tell me your thoughts on two-way communication between the living and spirit.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, they can. There's various ways depending on the 5 clairs that exist, and they can also affect electronics and things like that. So they may do visual cues. They may do. Sometimes you can hear them audibly. Sometimes it is just little signs that come. It really varies because communication is vast, and they can use many types of communication depending on what you're open to receiving.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. Define for someone who is a skeptic, for somebody who doesn't believe in what you and I do. What is the best way you've found personally to deal with somebody who is of an inquisitive mind, or what I call a healthy skeptic, somebody who doesn't believe that wants to? What's the best way to convince them?
Well, the best way for anything is kind of like UFOs. Most people don't believe until they see one themselves. So
Right.
sometimes, whether it's by example, I mean, I've had skeptics come before and leave believers. So it varies. I mean, obviously they want proof, and sometimes that proof comes, but sometimes the proof cannot be forced. And I'm not really here to try to deprove or whatever you want to use. I'm not here to try to make believers out of skeptics. People are either going to believe or they're not. My life continues. It doesn't affect me regardless. So it's one of those things. I don't like to, when people come up and they're like, prove it. Again, if I'm not in the mood, because I can turn it off. So I can just easily turn it off and on.
You have no idea what kind of luxury that is.
Oh, it's wonderful. It took me
Yeah.
a while to learn, but
I don't have that luxury.
once I did, I'm flicking that switch all the time. Off!
Moonchild has a question. She says, do you use a spirit box or automatic writing?
The spirit box I have, if I do use it, it actually broke because I didn't change the batteries. I haven't used it for so long because I used myself in investigations that it had battery acid all over it and it's broken. But the SB7, I do also automatic writing. That really depends on if the deceased want to do that. They'll take up my pen and I'll just start writing. And it's a lot of scribbles because I'm just writing whatever they told me to.
Yeah. I always say, take my hand. Take my hand. So, Amelia, questions for Valentina?
Well, sure. I know that you had mentioned earlier about going to paranormal investigations. What is the your most favorite paranormal investigation that you've gone on to?
Well, the best one I went to, I rented out for 11 hours at the Preston Castle up in Sacramento. It's kind of off in the.
Oh, yeah.
And that was probably the most exciting because from the minute I got there, I was being poked by a little boy. I had water out of nowhere drip on me, and there's no water anywhere. The water's not turned on, and there was a water drop on my shoulder. So that was like phantom water. As soon as we set up in one room, I heard 4 tones of a whistle, but I was just getting out my recorder when it whistled clear. Everybody heard it. It was actually a clear, disembodied voice. And I mean, obviously, the Queen Mary is the most active and my favorite, but my second favorite, I would have to say, would be Preston Castle, just because of how lively it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting stuff. We had a paranormal group here last week.
all right.
Oh
no.
my God, it was laughable. It was absolutely that Monday night show. Kudos to them. I will absolutely compliment them for Monday night show. But Tuesday, they came here with an attitude. Tuesday night, I destroyed them. They ended up walking off the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
when I have that effect on people.
Yeah, it was very
So
interesting.
before we began the show, Valentina agreed
Yes.
that she would do a reading for Amelia. By the way, I purposely saved it for this part of the show as we are approaching the end of the show. So you've got up to 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, the way I work is I'm going to give you things and then you can say yes or I don't know. So I kept connecting to black. And this was in terms of a pet. So when I get pets or black pet, it may have been one that was living or one that is deceased, or it may have been from your childhood. Um, are you going to say yes or no to anything yet? Or
No,
you...
she will not.
Oh,
Not-
wow.
not-
Okay,
not-
I'm just gonna rattle it off.
Not until after you're done. Just
Oh,
keep,
okay,
just
cool.
rattle. Just rattle.
Great.
Yep.
All right, I'm rattling. All right. And then I kept getting sadness tied to an older female, fairly heavy set, seems to be sedimentary, sitting a lot, maybe wheelchair, but not very mobile. The sadness also tied to this person because they I feel like life just caught up with them. They're very unhappy about the situation, unhappy about their health. But again, the main thing is just like very tied either to sitting or wheelchair. Then there was a connection to April. When I get months, it could be birth, death month, or anniversary month. And then they kept saying 26, and I actually had to look at my laptop. It is the 26th today, but it's not this 26th. So it would be another date of the 26th. Or again, when I get numbers, it could be age, a significant age. That's all I wrote down for now.
Okay, Amelia. You may now respond to what Valentina brought forth.
Okay. As far as black, I had a dog, Gino, pass away. He was all black.
Okay.
And he passed away. It's been 4 years now. He was a Yorkie.
It was a Yorkie?
Mhm.
Oh, I have a Yorkie.
And the female, she wasn't heavy set, but was my grandmother.
Okay.
An
And
older
when
lady.
she was like tied to, was she sitting a lot? And
Not really necessarily, but it was my grandmother.
okay. And then all right. And then there was April, and then there was the 26th. Those might go together, or they might be
April,
separate.
I had a cousin that was born in April, but he was murdered, but it wasn't that year. But the 26th, my grandmother was born on the 25th of August.
Okay, so there's no connection there. Now, the person that tied to April, are they still alive? Are they?
No, he was murdered. His birthday was in April.
Oh, okay, all right. So that's okay. So that's the cousin. Okay. Okay.
Valentina, I have a gentleman in my chat room. He's a very dear friend of the show. He's a friend of mine. His name's Leon Barfield. He said, I've been told I was crazy because I talk to spirits. Give Leon some comforting words. By the way, Leon, I owe you a phone call, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Welcome,
Leon. First of all, that's awesome that you can talk to spirits. Hopefully you can be like me. You can get a little switch and turn it off and on. But you know what? I could also say, hey, you're crazy because you surf a 100-foot wave. All right. Everyone is crazy in their own way, and it's okay. Let's replace the word crazy with special.
Yeah.
And you are special because you talk to spirits, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of responsibility, but keep honing in on your skills and don't ever care what anybody says.
No.
Moonchild says, have any spirits ever followed you home?
Oh, God. My whole body just went.
Ugh.
It was not. Unfortunately, if it had been a spirit, I would have been happy. We could sit down and have coffee and chat. This was a demon, and I was waking
Ooh.
up every few days with scratches all over my neck, my arm. It was really, really bad, and
Yeah.
it turned out I ended up having to have the entire house exorcised. It hadn't gotten to me yet, but the house was, I mean, paintings were flying off the wall.
Yeah.
It was slamming into my bed, marks all the time on my body, scratches. I have one that's a permanent scar on the inside of my leg that it actually scratched bloody. So, but that was also when I was super, super open and didn't know how to protect myself. And now I can go to any demon infested place and walk out of there unscathed, unbothered, because they want nothing to do with me. So it's a wonderful feeling. But at the beginning, I was like, oh, the more fearful I became, the more I was giving them juice to mess with me. So, but
Layla
now
says, what is your opinion about those who channel spirit? Those allowing spirit to enter their bodies. I have very strong opinions on that. So what is your thought on that, Valentina?
I did it once just to test it out, and it was unfortunately a suicide, and I just started crying, and I'm like, okay. I mean, because there was so much guilt from it, and I'm sitting there with the sitter, and I just had this episode, and right away I realized this is getting really intense. So I said, get out of my body. You're not allowed. And then I let it out.
It gets really real very quick.
Right. Because it's like, no, I've got a body to play with. And I was like, okay,
yeah, exactly.
We're done.
Did it try to overpower you at one time to try to take over?
Oh, they will.
I mean, they could. But I
Mhm.
mean, I never let it get to that point, because this
Yeah.
was just a living person. It wasn't like an entity or something. I don't think I would ever do that in a haunted location. I was just trying to connect deeper with the deceased. But
well, in fairness though, Valentina, sometimes you don't have a choice.
Right.
Sometimes you have to assume that energy in order for yourself to get closure from it, as well as the spirit.
Right.
A lot of times they jump into us. They're called jumpers, by the way, is the term we use.
Right. Yes. Jumpers.
Yeah. And they jump because they're looking for someone to, for lack of a better word, Amelia, they're looking for someone to sympathize or identify with them.
Yeah.
To feel what they feel, so that they know that what they did, either you will confirm it was not their fault, or it was their fault, and you're going to help them to deal with it.
And to cross over if they need a crossover.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, Valentina, you'll agree with that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, luckily I've never had anybody
before.
So.
We really have to bring Valentina.
Oh, absolutely, because there's lots of questions that I want to ask her about the paranormal, investigations and.
Well, and next time I'm going to learn how to log in, so I think too.
Layla has a great question. We're going to let this be the last question of the night. Aww. Can you tell the listeners how they can protect themselves from unwanted spirit? Now, is that for me, Layla, or is that for Valentina? Well, you know what, Valentina, you're the guest. I'll let you answer that.
Oh, well, thank you.
And the question is, so everybody knows, can you tell the listeners how they can protect themselves from unwanted spirit? There you go.
Yes. Okay, so the quickest and probably cheapest way is to get some, and here we go. Don't listen to Moondog, no, Mad Dog, Moondog. Black crystals like obsidian, snowflake obsidian, black tourmaline is great, onyx. You want to get any of those black crystals that will absorb that negative energy. If you're going to sage, now sage is a very iffy thing because if I go in and sage a haunted house, it's going to ramp up the energy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
only use sage in my house with good energy. So you want to cleanse sage
I do
with
that.
good energy. You do
Mhm.
not ever want to use it in a bad location. You can also, like in the front of my door, I have a little bowl of salt. Himalayan salt is really good to prevent anything from coming through
Why
there.
are you wasting all this food, salt, sage, oil? What are
It's
you
good to
doing?
salt is good to prevent
That's
negative
my
energy
whole
coming into your home.
that's
Your
my
whole
whole
spice
spice
cabinet.
cabinet. Are you kidding me?
Sage is good to lead good
I'm kidding.
energy into your home, and
I'm
Yeah,
salt it prevents bad energy coming into your home.
Amelia.
exactly. Frankincense is
That
Yes,
wonderful.
I have frankincense. I do. I burn
Frankincense,
frankincense. Yes.
very
Well,
good.
listen, let me tell you something, Valentina. Amelia is if she thinks it's going to help her,
Hey, I got this
she's going
too.
to go out and buy it, okay?
Yeah, I
Because
do.
she's a sucker like that.
Hey,
I am.
don't
That's not
go
being a
buy
sucker. You know what? I
things.
got this too.
I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what. Valentina, I like you. I'm going to bring.
I
By
love
the
her.
way,
Are you
let
kidding?
me show you what Valentina used to do for a living,
Yes.
okay? Talk about crazy. Yes, she's a crazy psychic. Watch this. Look at this. All right, there you
Those
go.
I
good
told
old
you she was
days.
beautiful. She's still
I
beautiful.
had to
Look at
give
that.
her modeling pictures a little plug. All right, Amelia,
Absolutely.
what do we got coming up tomorrow night on our psychic week?
We have psychic life coach Tara Karen on tomorrow.
Psychic life coach Tara Tara Karen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kept wanting to call her Karen for some. I don't know why. um, yes, we listened to this one. Here we go. Layla already said it. I love her personality. Bring
Aw.
her back.
Layla, I'm
That's what
gonna
I'm
find
going
you
to
on
do.
Facebook.
Amelia is going to.
Yes.
I gotta have you back for
I
part two.
do because we have a
Because
lot of
we
questions
didn't.
still.
We barely scratched the surface here.
Oh no, I loved. I enjoyed the questions. This
But
was super
and
active. I
thank you
loved the
for the
audience.
reading
Yes, thank you.
for Amelia. I think I'm going to give you. I'm going to score you a 75 out of 100 on that.
Wow. That,
Okay, and that's generous for me. And Amelia will tell you that's
Really?
generous for me.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
somebody else did a reading for me a long, long time ago, and I tell you what, she got a 0 out of 100.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm
she told me my
sure.
daughter would have a baby in April, and that was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh.
My daughter's still not pregnant.
That's
Yeah, well, we're
crazy.
getting froze up over here. I'll tell you what, Valentina,
Mhm.
I am going to let you go. We're definitely going to bring you back.
Yes. Mwah.
But
Hi,
until
everybody.
until
Hugs.
we do, for Amelia the Pitbull Chapman, for psychic medium Valentina Lomborg, I am Angelo the Mad Dog DeCipio. Join us tomorrow night for What's the Buzz, America's Best Bobcast. Take care, folks. We'll see you tomorrow
Good
night.
night, everybody.